Peace, blessing, much respect, much love. It's the boy, the Ghetto Guru, aka Shango, coming back with the third video of the day. And after this, I'm done. So this one is probably gonna be a little shorter one. This is for my people in New York City, and it's anybody outside of New York City that's seen this article too. So I don't know if y'all seen um the news, but it was basically talking about the New York Museum of Natural History that's in the city of Manhattan, the borough of Manhattan. And it was basically saying that they had to pull about like 12,000 of the artifacts in the museum, not even artifacts, but the old remains of of certain ancestry slaves and stuff like that, because they said that the body remains were actually stolen. So which a lot of us already knew. So because we like, how did y'all get all these things? You had to be digging them up from graves and taking them, because how y'all get the access to a lot of these things? But they came out and said that they had to pull them from the museum, about over 12,000 of these artifacts and of these human remains, and they had to take them out the museum, and they had to admit that they were stolen from grave sites of ancestral slaves and stuff like that. But it brought me to this topic about there's another museum for those that seen Black Panther. Even though that's a Marvel character, we have to realize even fiction characters are based off of real events. Um, the Black Panther that's based off the militant group, the Black Panthers. So when I went, this is about 3 years ago, I went to the Schomburg that's on 135th Street in Lenox in Manhattan, but it's in Harlem. It's in the borough of Manhattan, but it's in Harlem. That's where I'm from, Harlem. So when I went to get this tour by the Black Panthers, after I seen the movie Black Panther, they were explaining, they were giving us a tour through the African American part of the museum. They were showing us history, explaining to us, and then they went into the deeper about the movie, and they was talking about how that was based off the actual group of the Black Panthers, and also that in the Black Panther where Killmonger was in the museum, and he was trying to steal the artifacts and bring it back over to the European country. That was actually a thing in the Schomburg Museum. They actually tried to take a lot of those African artifacts, African American artifacts, and try. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Australia. I could look it up, but but I think it was Australia. If I'm not, I gotta double check the book because I bought one of the books with a guy, and the Black Panther was explaining all these things. But whatever country it was over there, European countries, they actually was trying to take for years a lot of those artifacts from that museum and try to take it over there to have it. You know what I'm saying? To keep it over there with them. They were trying to do that for years, and they was trying to shut that Schomburg down for years. So that part in the movie that they were talking about, that was actually a real thing. They just didn't break down where it was. And the Black Panthers who were in the Black Panthers were explaining this during the tour. And not only that, when they was also talking in the movie, they was also trying to find vibranium. That was the most powerful thing in that Black Panther movie, in the first one that they was trying to find and that they was fighting over and everybody wanted to get. That represented clear quartz, which is one of the most powerful minerals and crystals in the crystal family, and it amplifies any mineral crystal to the highest vibration. Think of the word vibranium, vibration. So again, even though some of these things are fictional characters or fictional movies, they take them from real events and it's turned into a fictional story, but it's really based off of something or someone that was actually a real person or a real event. And you have to go do the research, be around people that actually know this knowledge, or to really understand how I was able to create these things. So, but that is where it comes from with that. So, but it just reminded me of that when that article came out about the Museum of Natural History having to return all those old remains that were stolen. But a lot of these museums, the remains are stolen, because like I said, how did they get these things? They had to be digging up graves to be able to get these remains and put them in the museum of these old ancestors that passed. But that's basically the breakdown of that movie. So that was based off the real Black Panthers, the movement. And not only that, when they was in the beginning, when Killmonger was in that museum, they was trying to steal the vibranium. That was what they was really trying to do, and all those, and in the Schomburg Museum. You can look up the Schomburg and look up the history and find the Black Panther that's still alive and ask them, and they'll tell you. But that's where all that information comes, and that actually was a real thing. And they've been trying to do that for years and be able to keep the Schomburg open and to keep those artifacts there for the African American part of the museum. They had to do like fundraisers and different things to raise money and different things to keep it open and to fight against it. And luckily, each time they were able to reach their goal to not have that happen. But that actually was a real thing. And like I said, the vibranium represents clear quartz, which is the most powerful crystal mineral out of all the crystals family. And it amplifies anything to the highest frequency that it can be, which is back to the vibranium and back to the word vibration. And it vibrates it to the highest frequency that it can be. So yeah, this one is not really a long one. That's just pretty just a short informational one. Y'all can look that up. Like I said, all the stuff that I'm saying, y'all can look it up yourself. And just open your mind and research, and don't be confined to just what somebody told you or somebody said. Just even if I say something, look it up. Like, I'm not gonna come just tell y'all just something that you can't look up. So yes, always have discernment and look up anything, but also when people are just telling you to stay away from stuff or this is bad, research yourself and look up the actual history and actual knowledge and do your own research. Don't just go because somebody said, oh, this is bad, so don't eat it. This is bad, so don't do it. Look it up for yourself. Do research and actual knowledge. A lot of times they just repeating something that somebody else said out of ignorance because they have no knowledge of it. And when people say stuff out of ignorance, that's because it's coming from a place of fear and because they don't understand what they're talking about, or they don't understand what they're looking at. So, or what somebody else is talking about, so they start placing labels on it, and to keep themselves sane, because the human mind likes to talk a lot of ignorance sometimes when they don't understand something, or when something makes them feel afraid because they don't have no knowledge on it. And instead of them listening, opening their mind, or doing research first, or examining it, they automatically be like, oh, it's bad, keep it away, and you're going to hell. And we got to open our minds a little more because, like I said, there were many things that existed, many people, many gods, goddesses that existed in this realm way before some of these books or texts that people use religiously and hold. Like, and I'm not saying that none of the stuff in there isn't true, but I'm saying we also got to hold discernment because, like I said with the Bible, we got to remember that was handed to us by Europeans when they came to enslave people that were in Africa. So we gotta realize that there's some truth in there, but we also gotta take it with a grain of salt and know that these people also enslaved people with this as well, because people had different beliefs before that. But there's a reason why in the Bible they say BC, before Christ. There were things, gods and goddesses that existed before Christ walked this earth. Am I saying not to believe in Christ? No. But I'm telling you to stop confining your mind to just that. And open your mind and do some research and go back, because the oldest remains on this earth was found in Africa over 10,000, 13,000 years ago, and that was BC. So do your history and research, because we're not just talking out of our feelings or just through faith. We're talking actual facts and truth in history. That also factors in majorly to a lot of stuff. So open your mind, do your own research, and stop always listening to people when they say, oh, this is bad, this is that, you're going to hell. Because a lot of times they talking out of fear and ignorance, and they don't know what they're talking about. They just repeating what somebody else said, and that person don't know what they're talking about either, because they ain't do no historical research of actual truth. So peace, blessing, much respect, much love. I love y'all. Keep doing your thing. Stay focused, stay goal-oriented. Like I always say, whether we run, whether we jog, whether we sprint or crawl, because life is that hard. Sometimes you can't run, you can't jog, you can't sprint. Only thing you could do is crawl to that destination. But like I always say, somehow, some way, we gotta make it to our destination someday. So peace, blessing, much respect, much love. I love y'all. Keep doing your thing. And to the next topic, peace.